Listen, getting ready in pre-market prep absolutely sets the stage for your entire trading day. And listen, this is how to do it like a pro, okay? Now, a lot of this work is repetitive, but being prepared is what allows you to capitalize on all these opportunities, because at the end of the day, and maybe you've been on a webinar where I would joke about the trade of the day and I say, hashtag SSDD, okay? We'll keep it PG for YouTube, but it's the same stuff, different day. Now you gotta know the stuff to look for, and StocksToTrade and using pre-market prep is the absolute best way to do that. So as soon as you come in the morning, now pre-market's really hot right now, especially early pre-am or early AM. I always like to say you don't have to be in the market at 4 or 5 a.m. But on that note, it is really hot from like 6 a.m. Kind of through till about 8:45. Like that's that kind of sweet spot right now. Okay, now that's we're basically late winter, spring 2025. Market's always evolving, and you got to recognize those trends. But right now, that early pre is hot, okay? It's when the biggest moves happen. So by being able to repeat that process and know what to look for, really sets you up for success. So let's kind of go back to a pre-market trade today on BMRA, okay? Great example of this because checks every box for what we look for. And you come in the day, depending on when you start trading. This stock was actually a little bit of a later one. We are seeing replicable moves like this earlier, but this is a good example. You got the news that drops 8:19 a.m., okay? Let me bring up that news. Remember with penny stocks, these are very speculative stocks, never investments. We don't necessarily believe the news, but we love to see keywords and things that have moved stocks in the past. And you can see the UAE Ministry of Health approves Biomedica's Fortel PSA screening tool to detect early signs of prostate cancer. Now, what we're particularly keen on there is cancer, okay? And this is where maybe you've heard me do this before. I always have to kind of give that little disclaimer. Listen, I want everyone to be healthy, wealthy, and wise, as Ben Franklin would add or say, but at the end of the day, scary stuff like cancer, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, a lot of these things that a lot of people are really worried about, when you see those headlines, they create epic moves because they're like, hey, check this out. Early test for prostate cancer. Now, again, don't believe these penny stocks. They'll probably never get this product to market. They'll probably fail. But in the short term, we can crush these trades. Quick trades, great way to grow your account. So what I did, as soon as that press release hit, I saw, hey, cancer in the headline. They put it in the headline for a reason. They know a lot of algos. This might not be something you don't know. Tons of trading algos are just scanning for keywords, like especially at key times of day like 8 a.m. So they'll be fully automated trade algos that are just looking for some of those keywords that I mentioned, and they just pile into the stock. And then you're like, how did they know so fast? It's a common fallacy. People think the algos know the news before it happens. No, they just got a supercomputer looking for terms like cancer, and they just smack the ask immediately. So you as a human, it might take you 30 seconds to see that news. When you've got an algo that pushes the stock up. Now, a lot of people get in trouble for doing that similar thing as a human. You're not a supercomputer. You're not a HFT, okay? You can't be as fast as these guys are. So I'm going to show you a pattern that worked out really, really well on BMRA. But just kind of going through the list of being ready in the day, you're running your news scan. You can even filter by keywords in StocksToTrade. Actually, let me show you that real quick. I can bring up a custom news scan, and once I do that, let me drop this. I can actually pop this out, and you'll notice that I can actually screen for stuff like cancer, okay? And ironically, I actually didn't plan this. The only stock this morning with cancer in the headline, BMRA. I kind of got lucky there. I was expecting like 5 or 6 matches. I got 1, okay? Now you can put a comma in there. You can put in multiple terms. You have multiple scans looking for multiple keywords. AI, quantum computing plays are really hot right now. You could be scanning for all these things. So that press release hits. You see it's a low float stock, only 14 million in the float, which remember our traditional cutoff's about 10 million, but we're still in the ballpark. So now you catch the PR, you see the initial move. How do you actually trade that? That's the beauty of the RCT pattern, the red candle theory pattern. Now, I'm not going to get a ton into the pattern on this video because I've got a bunch of them on the channel. There's a lot of intricacies in the RCT pattern that a lot of people overlook. Check out those videos so that I don't have to go all over it on this one. This one's more about trading in pre and being ready in the day. So if I jump over to my notes from the live webinar, and actually let me zoom this in for you, you can see that 8:33 a.m., almost 30 minutes, not quite, but close to 30 minutes after that PR dropped, I said, now these are notes that I share in the live pre-market prep webinar, 8:30 Eastern, so they're brief, okay? But I said BMRA, vert stock, RCT is the first approach. Then, since it's a true penny stock, we'll also use the Oracle signal later in the day. What I want to focus on is the first part, okay? The first approach to the stock is an RCT, which is based on letting that initial exhaustion gap peter out, put in a red 5-minute candle, and then you use the body of that 5-minute candle to set your entry and your stop loss. Now, I know I'm getting into candlesticks, maybe getting a little advanced, but trust me, watch those other RCT videos. Now, what I want to show you is what BMRA did about 5 minutes later. Okay, let me zoom in here. You'll see after that initial big move from 30 cents all the way up to almost 60 cents, so almost 100% move, here comes that red 5-minute candle. You let that 5-minute candle play out, and then you trade the top and the bottom range. So the top range of that candle, 76 cents, bottom end of the candle, about 70 cents. Now, I know that's pretty tight risk, but when you trade these volatile stocks, you keep your risk tight. But you'll see, once this thing busted that upper candle into 9 a.m., so almost 20 minutes after I gave those notes, plenty of time to get ready, it busts that upper end of that candle of 76 cents and almost doubled into the market open to $1.27, okay? Let me zoom back out. Right here's that RCT. You see that only red candle. Does that continuation move, never hits the stop loss, and goes from 76 cents to $1.27, which is almost, not quite, but almost 100% move. Now, you'll never sell the top. We're not trying to pick tops. We're not trying to pick bottoms. But the nice thing is you'll see BMRA just went into consolidation mode a little over 1 for about 30 minutes, actually about 45 minutes. So once you catch that initial move using the RCT, once the stock fails to continue, so fails to move higher and starts to drop into consolidation area, that's your key to sell. You're like, okay, I caught the meat of the move, made about 25, 30, 40% on this trade. I'll take it off, and you're done by 10 a.m. That's why it pays to be ready in pre-market prep. That's why knowing what to look for, using the news, using the scans, knowing what to look for, and then coupling that with a consistently repeatable pattern, which many of you know I have an entire ebook going over the top 10 trading patterns that have worked for years and work every day. Like that pattern, I should rename that book the SSDD book, okay? Because every single day, well, 9 out of 10 days, there's a setup like this. You just have to know what to look for and how to actually trade it to control your risk and maximize your gains. So the last thing I will mention when it comes to pre-market prep, guess what? Every single day, I do a webinar called Pre-Market Prep, okay? And it's at 8:30 Eastern. Here's the full notes from today, okay? We went over WHLR, Sober, PMAX, went over all the quantum plays, okay? Quantum plays are really hot today as I'm recording this video. BMRA, SYM, TPET, KIT, DOU, okay? Actually, here's a zoom in of that RCT on BMRA that I shared with members as it hit at 8:43 a.m. So that webinar is live, and we do exactly that. We scan, We go over trades, we set up those trades, we get ready in advance, almost, 20, 30 minutes in advance. If you were on pre-market prep, you knew exactly what to do with BMRA. So that being said, my friends, how much time do you spend getting ready each day? This webinar, the beauty of it, and this is my favorite part, 15 minutes, okay? Now, you might not be able to get ready for the day, mapping out all the news and patterns and all that in 15 minutes, but I'm a big fan of repetition. Google the OODA loop when you get a sec, okay? OODA. I actually think I have videos going over it. The more repetitions you get in, observe, orientate, decide, and act, okay? You can run the scan, run it through a defined process, map out the levels, and execute that trade. The more reps you put in, like many things, you get faster and you get better at it, okay? And back to pre-market prep, every single day for 10 years. That's not an exaggeration. 10 years, I've never missed a day, okay? So if you're that committed to your trading, you're that committed to getting ready each day to capitalize on the best stocks, you should check out the Daily Income Trader system. Click the link below, free tour, everything. You'll probably see some snippets from that morning's pre-market prep. They'll probably play you a video showing you exactly how I do it, all live, absolute game changer for trading. Check out that webinar, and I'll see you in the Daily Income Trader system.